We're back on the Sports Zone. I am Mike Aglialoro. We haven't really talked too much about Michael Sam on the Sports Zone, and there's a reason for it, because I am the type of person who doesn't really care about things like sexual orientation. I am a heterosexual man, but I don't really care if someone is a homosexual. I have had homosexual friends my whole life. When I was a manager at some of the movie theaters I worked with, I actually hired homosexual people, and I never had a problem with that. To me, people is people. I am the type of person who has always thought, don't judge a person based on the color of their skin. Don't judge a person based on their religious preference. Don't judge a person based on their sexual orientation. You know how I judge someone? I judge someone on whether or not they're an asshole. It's just that simple. And there are assholes of every race, nationality, sexual orientation, and religion out there. And in this world, in this life, it is hard enough to get through your life just being a good person, trying to do the right thing, and make it to the end of the day without having to distinguish between which groups you feel like hating that day. I never got involved with things like that, and to me it's not a big deal. But over the weekend, Michael Sam was drafted by the St. Louis Rams, and, let's be honest, it was the most emotional moment of Michael Sam's life. And if you saw his reaction, you felt for him, and you felt good for him, and you were happy he was going to what, in my eyes, like I said over the weekend, is a perfect situation with a coach like Jeff Fisher, one of the most respected and someone with more integrity than, anybody else in the league. This is a guy who someone like Michael Sam can prosper under. And then Michael Sam kissed his boyfriend. Not something I am a fan of seeing, but I gotta be honest, when the first kiss happened, it seemed like we had come a long way as a society, because 20 years ago, there was no way in hell anything like that would have been on TV without millions of protesters in the Catholic right, people like Jerry Falwell coming out of word work saying that this is an abomination against man, and how dare this be on TV. And, it's just refreshing to see that that's how far we came. And then the second kiss happened. Oh, all right. And the third kiss happened. Okay. And then the nightly news got a hold of it. And here's the kiss. And there's the kiss. And then you get to Monday morning and some newspapers get a hold of a picture of him kissing his boyfriend from a different angle when he's got whipped cream from a cake on his mouth. And as a result, all day Monday, if you looked all over the internet, whether it was Facebook or Twitter, you saw all the idiots come out of nowhere to just, chastise him. And the pictures came out, and some of the pictures were funny. Let's be honest here. You get the pictures, the obvious ones, Michael Sam's new shoe line, the Sam I Am ones with the high heel. That's funny. I mean, come on. We're not, it's a little obvious here, and we're not trying to pick on anyone, but, let's look at the humor. And then you saw the memes come out, and you had the picture of Allen Iverson with his reaction when Michael Sam kissed his boyfriend. And, I think it said it perfectly, because he's not very offended. He's not happy. It's just, we weren't ready for that. We weren't ready for that. And I blame the media, because, as always, when something like that happens that you don't see every day, they'll take it, and like a 5-year-old with its favorite song, and because I am old enough to remember the cassette tapes, they will take that cassette tape and they'll play the song over and 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 over until you can't play the tape anymore. Well, in this case, the media took the picture of him kissing his boyfriend, and they played it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And what happens? The more you play it, the more you're inviting the ignorant and the bigoted to have a field day with it. And you know something? Let's be honest, folks. The media is as much to blame for the firestorm that is going on with Michael Sam being the first homosexual athlete to announce that he is a homosexual and play actively in any league. The media is as much to blame. Now, let's be honest. Michael Sam is the one who came out to a media frenzy that he invited. He did do that. And I'm not taking it away from him. But that's the day and age we live in. You know, homosexuals, one way or another, are kind of like African Americans back in the 40s and 50s. They're not, we know they're there, but they're not really allowed to do some of the same things in some of the same way. We've made strides on this as a culture. But as much as I've heard people fight the comparison between a Jackie Robinson and a guy like Michael Sam, you don't want to put him up on the same pedestal, fine. But Jackie Robinson was coming out and being the face of the fight for equality in the Civil Rights March, just like Michael Sam is now the face of the fight for equality for the homosexuals in this country. And yes, let's be honest, we live in a world where we have the queer eye for the straight guy, and it seems like every show winds up putting some homosexuality in it. If you watch HBO, Game of Thrones, Rome, doesn't matter the show, you know it's in there. Even House of Cards on Netflix, Kevin Spacey gets down with his homosexual self. So, it's everywhere. Like Jake Dixon pointed out earlier, it's not necessarily being forced down your throat because, yes, you can change the channel. But like I said, let's put blame where it deserves to be. If you go from one nightly news telecast and you see Michael Sam kissing his boyfriend, and you change the channel to another nightly news telecast with Michael Sam kissing his boyfriend, then you go to a third one with Michael Sam kissing his boyfriend, then you go to ESPN and Michael Sam is kissing his boyfriend, and then the next morning you wake up, you pick up the paper and Michael Sam is kissing his boyfriend with cream from cake on his mouth. You're getting it forced down your throat in some way, shape, or form. Yes, you can change the channel. Yes, you can put the paper down. But one way or another, it's there. And you know something? I don't need to see Michael Sam kissing his boyfriend to know that I am tolerant towards homosexual people. Like I said, I've worked with them. I've considered many of them to be among my closest friends. And I can name them, but I'm not going to because I always feel that the people who name them on one hand, what are you keeping a list for? I don't need to keep a list to prove how tolerant I am. And it's not something that should be put on a pedestal because I believe we live in a society that should be tolerant. But the fact is, we live in a bullying society. We live in a society where as a child, you are taught about survival of the fittest. And here's the problem I have with that statement. There's over 10 billion people on this planet. There is 1.5 billion people in China alone. If this was truly a planet based on survival of the fittest, there would be 50 people left on this planet. Nobody would be left. You'd know everybody by their name and address, and you'd be able to find them by looking at your door. There wouldn't be 10 billion people on this planet if it was based on survival of the fittest. So that is an outmoded idea that needs to change. And if that doesn't change, you can put the ads on TV about fighting bullying in the classroom. You can get as many athletes involved as you want. It's a societal problem. Sports is a microcosm of society. Whether it's acceptance of homosexual and black athletes, whether it's about treating your teammates the way you want to be treated, whether it's about an owner speaking to his players the way he wants to be talked to. If you don't stop these things from the top, don't bother trying to pick them off one by one. It's a societal issue. And until society changes, there are certain things that are unfortunately never going to go away. Racism is never going to go away, no matter how much we want it to, and no matter how much the racist people really are the minority in this country, they're still there. There'll always be hate, and there'll always be bigots. But thankfully, in the face of this, we'll have a guy in Michael Sam who gets to live his dream, in spite of what anybody else says. And the fact is, this all does take away from the fact that when he steps into training camp and he steps on the field, he has to make his own way. If he's not good enough, Jeff Fisher will not keep him on the St. Louis Rams. Like I said, he's going into a backup role. What he does from this point forward is entirely on him. Good luck to him. And like I said, we can all say whatever we want. In the end, it's going to be judged on the field. And all this other stuff is just idle chatter. We talk about it until we're blue in the face, but in the end, Michael Sam will live and die in an NFL sense by his own talents. And that's all he wants to do. So like us on Facebook, folks. Follow us on Twitter, as always. Send us any questions and comments you may have. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, folks. For This Is SportsZone, I am Mike Aglialoro, and we will see you next time.